Earthquakes are dangerous, but they can also help scientists to predict another hazard, and that's volcanic eruption.
Lately, Mauna Loa has been showing more earthquake activity, so does it mean that an eruption is imminent? Cam Tran wraps up Earthquake Week from the Big Island.
The sleeping giant, which makes up half the Big Island, might be waking up.
Looks like Mauna Loa is showing some signs of activity.
Volcanologist Frank Truesdell says he's noticing more earthquakes and changes to the surface called deformation. These are key items scientists monitor for an eruption.
We are getting small numbers of earthquakes, both on the west flank and in the summit. And deformation-wise, finally we're actually getting extension across the flanks and across the summit.
But Truesdell says the size and amount of earthquakes is still far from the activity he saw before the 1984 Mauna Loa eruption.
Now we might be getting somewhere between 0 and maybe 8 or 10 a day. And we'd expect to see in 75 and 84 we were having like 5 a day. It might be 20 a day, then go up to 50 a day, and then go up to hundreds a day and stay fairly consistent over that time. The seismicity is fairly sporadic. It isn't persistent or consistent enough for us to forecast the next eruption of Mauna Loa.
Though scientists say no eruption is imminent, if Mauna Loa were to erupt, the hazard could be immediate.
South Kona is very vulnerable to fast-moving lava flows, and people have only a matter of a few hours to respond.
In fact, the 3 1950 flows on the southwest flank of Mauna Loa reached the ocean in less than a day. If the flow were on the Hilo side of the mountain, such as the 1984 eruption, the flow rate would be much slower. The amount of lava output from Mauna Loa trumps what we're currently seeing at Kilauea.
Kilauea is putting out somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100,000 cubic meters per day in this current lava flow. And what Mauna Loa put out in 1984 was 1 million cubic meters per hour.
There's also a big difference in speed. Kilauea during the June 27th flow covered 600 yards a day at its peak speed. Mauna Loa can cover roughly 6 miles a day. A flow that fast could quickly cut off highways and major roadways. It would also mean thousands more would be at risk. The southwest flank of Mauna Loa has seen a boost in development since the last eruption, with many building right on old lava flows. In Kona Paradise in South Kona, new $500,000 to $1 million homes line the steep mountainside. Along with the ocean views, residents here can also see charred land from old lava flows. In fact, one homeowner built right on top of it. According to the last U.S. Census report, the South Kona population grew from 8,500 to roughly 10,000 in 10 years. The Ka'u district has grown by 2,600 people, with the boom mostly in Ocean View, where the population doubled in the last 10 years. Driving through Hawaiian Ocean View estates, you can see new houses popping up along the mountainside, with more on the way. Joe Tuttle lives right on an old lava flow, and even after learning about the renewed activity at Mauna Loa, he says he's not worried.
I like the lava, and I like just how it is here. It's nice, peaceful, and quiet. I try not to think about it. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, you know. I just roll with everything, so I'd actually like to see it. If it's going to, I'd like to see what happens.
When Mauna Loa does erupt, it will allow volcanologists to test a new theory about the correlation of Mauna Loa and Kilauea.
When one volcano was very high or frequently erupting, the other volcano was quiet, and then vice versa. When Mauna Loa was very active, Kilauea was quiet. So going back and looking at the long-term geologic record, it seems that that is true.
Right now, Kilauea is stealing the show, but perhaps not for long.
If you look at the overall robustness of Kilauea's eruption, especially in the last, let's say, year or so, it actually looks like it's starting to dwindle. And then Mauna Loa is showing signs of reawakening. So time will tell whether or not my hypothesis is valid or not.
In the meantime, Truesdell as well as Hawaii Civil Defense say Big Island residents should never forget about this giant.
What we're seeing now is a volcano saying, hey, I'm still active too. Even though Kilauea is over there, I'm still an active volcano. Don't forget about me.
Reporting from the Big Island, Cam Tran, KITV4 News.